It is the Sports Lounge 288, 2022, the year of this Lord. Urban Meyer, mock draft edition. Nathan Stacken, Charlie Hildebrand, Marcus Traxler, Mr. Schottenkirk. We all made it another year. We're all back a couple weeks after our last program. Stacken supporting the Twins as always.
Mm-hmm. I bought this the last game of last year and hadn't worn it until the beginning of this season. Didn't start out very good. Lost their first 3 games when I wore it. They've won the last 2. So good job, Twins.
Yeah.
We're turning it around.
Marcus, I like the old M, I think, more than most. I like the old M.
Yeah.
Where did I get this? I got this recently last month. Used, but still in good shape, I believe.
Where did you get it? How many guesses do I get?
Just go one.
Okay. Good.
A town in this state.
Mm.
A secondhand, more of a women's. It was kind of like a Goodwill almost. It was a Goodwill. It was a nice Goodwill-like store.
Any store in Vermilion.
A garage sale in Crooks.
I'm just gonna say Salem.
It was Madison.
Madison, no. Very close.
Shop at the side of the road had secondhand clothes, and this was in the corner somehow. I'm like, it's used, obviously, and I'm like, this is wearable for me.
Yeah,
so,
but the bottom part of the bill isn't green. It would be legit if it was green. So it's a good look there for that. Things to get to at the mock draft. We're going to start this off here with a trivia question.
All right.
Usually we go to the end with the trivia, but we're going to start it off with one today.
I can't wait to bow out right away in this one.
Right away.
Krenz is booking his WWE title match at the opening of Raw.
I know, that's what shitting you not. 20 minutes ago, that's what I thought about. I was going to say, well, you know how they sometimes put the world title match on first every once in a while? That's what they're going to do here.
Sometimes you guys.
This is like NASCAR doing their Super Bowl race first.
That's right.
For the first race.
Same thing. Yep.
We're going to put this is the Daytona 500 right away. Not going to waste any time. I'm going to post some stuff first. But I found this question and found it on Twitter a couple weeks ago, and I said at the time I thought this was a very good question. And then looking back at some of our previous mock drafts, there's a lot of trivia during these mock drafts, usually centered around quarterback draft picks for the most part. So this one is, I believe there's 20 answers. It's points based. You need to give me a team, NFL team, that has drafted a quarterback that has then gone on to win a Super Bowl.
For the team that drafted him or for anybody?
Anybody.
Holy balls.
So if the Buffalo Bills draft Bill Johnson, and then Bill Johnson goes to win a Super Bowl with New Orleans, you would say Buffalo Bills, Bill Johnson. So we're looking for the team that drafted the quarterback. Not necessarily who we won it with, but the team that drafted the guy.
And this is going back how far?
Super Bowl winners.
Okay, so basically back to Super Bowl 1, I guess.
Yeah, anybody to win a Super Bowl is eligible on this.
Anyone after Sammy Baugh.
Yes. Let's see. Schottenkirk will go first. We'll go Schottenkirk, Marcus, Stack, and Charlie as I see.
Well, I'll start it off with Big Ben with the Steelers.
Hold on. Okay, well, give me a team. Okay, we're going to go first. Give me a team.
Okay.
And then I'll say whether that's right or not.
Okay, Steelers.
And then I will tell you how many they drafted. And then you get a chance to guess that many.
Okay. Okay.
Many. So you got, this is points based. You want to rack up.
Okay. Okay. So question here: if there, let's just say there's 15 for the Steelers. There's not.
Oh my God!
But, and he only got 10. What would happen to the other 5?
He gets 10 points.
Do we get to go for the other 5 or no?
You want to do that?
I don't know.
Yeah, let's do it.
Just figured
Okay,
we better
we'll
figure
do
that
that.
out.
We'll do that and just go down order. So whatever Trevor Lawrence doesn't get, Marcus will go, and then he'll just go one. And then if somebody's left, we'll go Stack and Charlie, and then all kind of depends the luck of the draw. If somebody misses it in front of you, then
You get the
then you
chance,
get a chance to
steal.
pick up points. Points aplenty. All right, so you like Pittsburgh for number one?
Sure.
That's good because they have the most. They have drafted 4 Super Bowl winning quarterbacks.
Well, that's interesting. Okay, so Big Ben,
You'd be one of them.
Bradshaw.
You'd be 2.
Okay, let me stop and think here.
Once you get one wrong, you're done.
Fuck. I don't only thought there was 3 and I'm blanking on the third one. So the fact that there's 4 has got me all confused. Well, I'm bowing out. I can't think of the third one that I thought I had.
You got 2. Marcus, you can pick up a point here.
And there's no penalty for getting it wrong.
Nope,
correct?
you just get you get a guess, and if you get it wrong, we go to stacking, and if you get it right, you keep going, and you'll get to pick the next team once you're done.
Okay, I'm gonna say Jim Plunkett.
Jim Plunkett, no.
Okay.
Stacking 2 more quarterbacks that have gone on to win Super Bowls that Pittsburgh drafted.
That Pittsburgh drafted. Yeah.
The team that originally drafted these guys.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Roethlisberger, we got Bradshaw. Those are the 2 obvious.
For the record, you're right. This question kicks ass because I'm already
I
super
saw this, and
confused.
I'm like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of draft and quarterback shit, and I'm like, I like this. It ties in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy.
So can narrow it down to guys that won Super Bowls.
Yep. Well, okay. Let me ask a clarifying question.
Okay.
Can they be just on a team that won a Super Bowl? Or do they have to be the starter? Okay. Thank you.
Checking here, teams that have drafted the most Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. So they must have won a Super Bowl, been the guy, I guess.
So Tardvard couldn't be on here.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Morris Jackson, not Tennessee State's own.
Oh fuck! I just thought of the third one.
There's a third one that if you know a little bit
God
about,
damn it,
he's one of them. This last guy, I had no idea. You associate this other guy with this other team, but yeah.
I can't think of it off the, so I will bow out too. You know what? Fuck it. I'll just give a guess here, and we'll go with.
Give a guess. Winning quarterback.
Wow. Yep.
You got a 1 in 40 shot.
Yep, I know here.
There's 20 teams on this list.
Let's get some guesses moving here.
Jim McMahon.
Jim McMahon, no. Charlie.
I don't know who the more obvious one you guys are thinking of is. So I could either guess someone more recent who I would have forgotten who drafted him or someone from a long time ago. I'm going to go with someone from a long time ago who didn't play for Pittsburgh, but could have been drafted by him. I don't know where he played before Washington. I'm going to guess Mark Rypien with Washington.
Mark Rypien, no. Not Mark Rypien. Good guess is what we're looking for. So in that round, David got 2. David, what was the other one?
Well, I thought it was Rypien too, so I guess I didn't have it.
Johnny Unitas was.
Oh.
I wouldn't have gotten that.
I would not have got that either.
The other one that I had no idea about, Len Dawson.
Okay.
Huh, didn't know that either.
Len Dawson. Chiefs, perhaps. So when it comes to the Chiefs, remember, Len Dawson was not drafted by the Chiefs. Marcus, you're up. First, you have to correctly identify a team.
I'm going to say the Green Bay Packers.
Green Bay Packers have drafted 2 guys that have won the deal.
I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers.
That'd be one of them.
And I'm going to go with Bart Starr.
Bart Starr was the other. 2 for 2. You've tied David at 2 apiece. Nathan.
I will go with the Indianapolis Colts.
Colts as well drafted 2 Super Bowl winning quarterbacks.
Peyton Manning and John Elway.
That would be correct. 2 there. Charlie?
I will go with the Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys have drafted 2.
I will go with Stacken's all-time favorite player, Roger Staubach.
Yes.
I don't know if Stacken cares about Roger Staubach either way. And then Troy Aikman.
That would be correct. So everybody gets 2 points in this first round. Here we go. Schottenkirk, round 2.
The Niners.
San Francisco has drafted 1.
Well, it's got to be Joe Montana.
Joe Montana was the 1. Marcus.
I will go with the New England Patriots.
They have drafted 2.
I'm going to go with Tom Brady.
Okay. Yep.
And let me think for a minute.
I looked for a Squirt hat online. There weren't very many good quality.
Wow.
Not from the you'd think 70s and 80s. That look like you might get them from the Hartford Farmers Elevator, but not.
I'm going to say, I'm going to make some guesses that are probably really stupid because of this. I'm going to say Jeff Hostetler.
Not Jeff Hostetler.
Okay.
Stacking for the steal.
Oh, boy.
Tom Brady was 1.
Yep. I know it's not the guy in the Subway commercials.
Steph
Not
Curry?
Charles Barkley.
That could be anybody. There's like 15 people in those ads.
Jeff Hostetler.
That's what Marcus said. So no.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I completely.
Stacking, on the SATs, you must not have done well in the listening portion.
Yep, I'm deaf in one ear.
Charlie, I'm going to give you a hint here.
No, okay, all right.
That's my hint.
I don't know. I'm gonna guess Mark Ripien.
Not Mark Ripien. Sometime he'll get picked. Schottenkirk for a point here.
God damn. Are we sure it's not Hostetler?
For sure.
Double check.
You can try it again.
What's the fuck? I don't know. Trent Dilfer.
Jim Plunkett.
Jesus.
All right.
Wow.
One with the Raiders. Jim Plunkett. Was it Nathan Stern?
Yep, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Tampa Bay's got 3 of them stacking.
This sounds
3.
good.
You hit the fucking honeypot.
All right, Steve Young.
Steve Young is 1.
Trent Dilfer.
Trent Dilfer's 2. Who's the 3rd Tampa Bay draft pick that went to win a Super Bowl?
Oh, Billy.
Billy. Charlie's up next. Looking for a steal. Amon joined us once during a mock draft. That was the Jameis Winston draft. 2015, 2016, or that was.
I'm going to go with. Oh, shoot. I know this. Brad Johnson?
No.
Yeah.
Charlie for a steal. Somebody else? Steve Young? Trent Dilfer? Somebody else?
If I have a good guess, I will guess my good guess. Since I don't have one, I'm going to go with Mark Ripien again.
Mark Ripien? No. Schottenkirk?
I literally have no idea. Can I pass?
Sure. Marcus?
I believe we are looking for Doug Williams.
Doug? We're looking for Doug.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Stepdad Doug.
That's right. I forgot he was drafted by Tampa.
One of my favorite trivia questions watching back was name like the last 15 first-round black quarterbacks.
Achilles Smith.
Stacken said Jared Lorenzen because he couldn't think of anybody.
No way, did I really? Are we sure Bobby Bonilla isn't on this list at all?
Him and Rashard Lewis didn't make it.
Yeah.
Thaddeus Young.
All time stuff.
Thad Young. You're kicking. I was watching like the Raptors game the other day. Every time I tuned in, Thad Young was breaking another. Jeez. That was what Nathan's pick.
Yeah, that was mine. Yep.
I will say this: Pittsburgh's number 1 at 4. Tampa Bay is 2 at number 3. Everybody else has 2 or 1. So the big points are out. There's still a couple teams that have had 2 a lot with 1. Charlie, is he up? Yeah.
I can't think of any with 2 off the top of my head. I will go with the Baltimore Ravens.
They've drafted 1.
And I'm assuming it's Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco.
Is he still elite?
No, he's
not.
I don't know if he ever was, Stack.
Yeah, I don't think he was either.
Nathan and Marcus
Except
have
that no.
4. Charlie and David have 3. Kirk, your pick.
The New York Football Giants.
Giants have 2.
Jeff Hostetler
Yes.
and Phil Simms.
Phil Simms. Great broadcaster. He's the best. Both of
Especially when he farts on air.
those. Marcus.
I'm going to go with the San Diego / Los Angeles Chargers.
They drafted 2.
Eli Manning
Yes.
and Drew Brees.
Drew Brees. Yep.
I was going to do the
Good
Chargers.
one.
I completely forgot about the Eli Manning thing. I thought I was going to be sneaky just with hitting Drew Brees on that.
These are tricky ones. You got both of them. Yep. Chargers off the board. Smack it.
I'll go the Atlanta Falcons.
Falcons have drafted 1 guy.
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre is the guy. Charlie.
Well, I was going to do the Chargers. So I guess we'll see how this goes. This could blow up totally in my face. I want to go with the Washington Commanders.
The Commanders have drafted 1. Who would that 1 be?
Is it Mark Rippon?
Mark Rippon. Yes, they drafted him and they won it. Washington coming in hot. Well, here we go. Marcus has got 6. Stack and David have 5. Charlie's got 4. Schottenkirk.
The Bears.
Bears have 1.
Jim McMahon, if I could talk.
Jim McMahon. Yes. Marcus.
Are there any more 2s still out there?
There's 1.
1, 2 still out there.
Yes. 1. Let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 singles out there. So we have 7 left.
I believe I'm going for a 1 here, and that is going to be Seattle Seahawks.
Seattle has 1.
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson to take the lead with 7 points. Stacking.
I'll go the Detroit Lions.
Yes.
Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford is 1. Charlie.
I will go with the Miami Dolphins.
They have 2.
And unfortunately, I only know one of them for sure. Bob Greasy.
Greasy is 1.
Not yet. Soon it'll be Ryan Tannehill. Okay. I don't know. I'm trying to just think of random quarterbacks in the 70s and 80s. I don't think it's someone I'm forgetting over the last 15 years, but these trivia questions frequently blow up in my face, so that could be the case. Kenny Stabler?
Kenny Stabler, no. Schottenkirk. Or Steele.
I've got no fucking idea yet. None. This question's too good.
Marcus.
This is Miami we're talking about, correct?
The Dolphins. Yep.
I'm going to say Joe Namath.
No. Stacking. To tie Marcus in the lead here.
Oh boy.
I believe we have 5 teams left after this. 5. 2, 3, 4.
No. Nick Foles.
Nick Foles. No, we were looking for Joe Theismann.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
I would
I
have
had
never
no
got
idea
that.
about that.
Would have gotten that.
I did not know that he was drafted in 71. Never played for him. Played in Canada. Was traded to Washington in 74. Did not. Schottenkirk. There's 5 teams left. All single players.
We're to the point of this question where I'm just going based off of names that have been used as other guesses. That's part of the reason why I'm not guessing. So I'll say the Eagles.
Eagles have drafted 1.
Nick Foles.
Nick Foles is that. You have 7. Marcus has 7. Marcus.
I will go with the Minnesota Vikings.
Vikings have drafted 1 quarterback somehow. That's won a Super Bowl.
Brad Johnson.
Brad Johnson to take the lead, 8-7. Stacking your 2 back.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Kansas City Chiefs have had 1.
The Hall of Famer, Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes.
Hall of
There
Fame
you are.
right now, Stackin.
He is.
I believe there are 2 teams left, Charlie. So
I guess I'll go with what I picked last time. How about the Raiders?
the Raiders have had 1 quarterback that they've drafted. Yes,
Was it the person I previously guessed, Ken Stabler?
it was Ken Stabler. Yes, there was 1 team left and 1 player on 1 team. Marcus has 8. Schottenkirk and Stacken have 7. Charlie has 6.
Whose turn is it?
Schottenkirk's. We'll keep going until somebody gets it.
So this is the point. I'm trying to remember what has been said because there's one obvious one that sticks out. And so I guess I have to go with it, even though it's probably already been said. But the Jets,
The Jets are that team. Who did they pick?
it has to be Joe Namath then, right?
That is correct. Joe Namath, yes.
There you go. Good job.
Marcus and David tied at 8 apiece.
Good job, guys. We got
I
it.
like that.
We got them all. I didn't think that was going to happen.
I didn't think we'd get them all either.
Hey, we didn't get and there was nobody picked a team that was not supposed to be picked.
I wonder how many guys were drafted in rounds that don't exist anymore.
I think
Well,
Gary
we only have
Oh my
7
gosh.
rounds, you know.
Oh,
So.
Lordy. That's a great question, Grants. Well
That's
done.
what we can do next year for the NFL draft.
Guess the round. Guess who got picked in
Matt
the third.
Stafford was not on this list, so I assume it was before that. So that was the one that was not on. I'm like, yep,
Okay.
yeah, he won.
Thank you for giving it to me. Regardless.
He just won it. So
All right.
makes sense. All right, we're into the draft here. Schottenkirk. It seems like a very unique draft. No quarterbacks at the top. People don't know. I mean, the first pick is still kind of up for grabs. The second pick, who knows? Is this on paper not a very good draft, or why is this the way it is?
I think that's exactly it. On paper, it's not. There isn't elite players. I mean, there's a few guys that are very good, obviously, but there's not 2, 3, 4 guys that everybody's thinking about potentially as a top pick. That's why you feel like it's so wide open in the top 5, 6, 7 picks. And what the team needs with those teams that are up there, it could go a number of ways. The talent level in rounds 2, 3, and 4 is as good or better than it usually is. With the top end, the elite, it's just not there this year, which should be an entertaining night. I think I might have my hopes up too high as far as the movement because there already has been a lot. And with multiple teams having multiple picks in the top 15, maybe there won't be a whole lot of trades. But I kind of think we're still going to get a couple surprises. I think there's a team or two that are in love with one of these quarterbacks, or maybe potentially a couple of these quarterbacks that are going to make a move, and they're going to try to jockey for position to get up and get the guy that they want. But yeah, it's overall, it is, like you said, it's a weird year. There's no elite talent in my opinion.
Charlie, your team doesn't have a pick. They traded for Tyreek Hill.
Correct.
So
I don't think they picked to round 3, if I remember right.
So I assume your interest is not all that high whenever your favorite team doesn't have a pick. Who gives a shit?
Correct. It is. I mean, it's still kind of interesting, but it's the most interesting when you have a team picking in the top 5 or top 10. If it's not in the first round at all, though, I mean, I will casually pay attention, but obviously not like I would, a few years ago when the Dolphins are drafting 3rd or whatever.
So they made some moves. Tyreek Hill, that's a significant move. A lot of money. Your thoughts on doing something big like that? The quarterback. Is this the year for the quarterback to say, all right, we got you some guys. You gotta maybe get us to the playoffs here.
Yeah, I think it's a make or break year for Tua, and obviously with a new coaching staff, could be even tougher that way. I mean, certainly they are giving him guys that they think can help him, and we'll see if it works. I like it in theory. I don't think Tua's going to be a guy in the NFL though. I mean, I don't think he's truly terrible bad, but not a guy that you're like, oh yeah, 6 years from now, this is a guy who's going to go on the road and win us a game late in the playoffs.
Stacking, we've been talking draft on the podcast for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What is your overall thoughts? What's Jeff Lloyd number 2? Yeah. What are his impressions?
Very, very deep at the edge rushers, so the defensive end, and then wide receiver. This is very deep on both of those fronts. Similar to what Schottenkirk said, there isn't really normally we have in a draft, quarterbacks kind of steal the show. Well, next year is going to be that draft with the quarterbacks. You got CJ Stroud at Ohio State. Someone else that
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young, thank you very much, from Alabama. So those are going to be the quarterbacks next year. This year, though, it's all about the defensive line and the offensive tackles, too. It's going to be very interesting. There's going to be a run on them early on in the draft here. And then I think you're going to see a run on wide receivers. I'm going to say starting at pick 12, between 12 and 23. In fact, I have 3 bold predictions for you. Would you like those now?
Yes, I would. Right now. Right now.
All in one breath, too.
May I say, your bold predictions they have come true.
So I'm going to say this right now. I think the Kansas City Chiefs move up. It's a foregone conclusion. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to be one team that trades up in the draft. I'm going to say it's to the Minnesota Vikings, but I'm just going to say in general, the Chiefs are a team guaranteed.
Malik Willis. I like Malik Willis a lot, dude.
Yeah, yes, they do. I think Pittsburgh's the other team that can potentially trade up, but I'm staking my bold prediction to Kansas City.
What are we getting there? They're 2 firsts and first next year?
I would say yes. Yep, I would say 3. I would say you give up a first and maybe a 5th round this year, maybe a 6th round next year, but you get 3 firsts in return.
Not to parse your mellow, but there's no way they give up a first next year.
Okay, well, maybe a 2nd rounder.
This year too.
And then I'm going to say over 2.5 quarterbacks get drafted this year in the first round. I'm going to say 3. And I'm going to say over 6.5 wide receivers in the first round get drafted. In fact, I am so confident in all of this that I will stake my unborn child this year. So
holy shit!
That's what you do to your unborn. Oh, right.
Yes.
10 weeks.
Yes.
Big announcement.
Yeah. Big announcement.
Wow.
So in the 10th, we have the 10th overall pick in the 7th month of the year of our Lord 2022 NFL draft here. And the Stacking family is going to select a boy or a girl. I have no idea what it is.
I don't know what it is. They had a boy or a girl?
Kelsey knows. I do not, and I'm going to let it be a surprise. So I am so confident in my bold predictions.
It's interesting. Usually you see the player to be named later in baseball. You don't see it very often in football. So that's awesome.
What a deal.
So there you go.
And I thought I was the one with the flair for the dramatics. You just lapped me 8 times over.
Yeah, Charlie. When are you going
to show her she's pregnant? When
are you going to get in the mix?
There's going to be New Year's baby or somewhere around there?
No, what? No.
The due date here? Due date? New Year's?
July 10th. July 10th. July 10th.
I thought we were 10 weeks
Away.
10 weeks
Okay.
away.
Okay.
Yes. 10 weeks away. Yeah, that's why it's a 10th overall pick in the 7th month of the year. Yeah, so that's the big announcement here, and I figured I'd mix my bold predictions here with a.
Good. No matter what happens in the other ones, you got the one right there, so we'll give it to you.
All right.
Just came to mind, but we're in the go zone at the Crin's wedding. That's only a couple weeks before your due date.
I know. We are. I am going regardless. Hopefully, we'd be a month away from that. So we hope that everything is good at that point with Kelsey. So we are anxious. We'll keep you posted. I am for sure going. So I'm sorry that I know we put for 2 on for you.
We'll adjust.
Okay. So
hell or high water, Stacken's going to be there.
That just means it makes more likely that Stacken and I can sit at the same table, right?
Hell yeah! Our first face-to-face ever will be at Crin's wedding.
Marcus, somebody's got to get a video of a first handshake or something.
Oh my God!
Just hand-to-hand combat right off the top.
Right there. All right.
I'll throw it out there, Stacken. I'm kind of a hugger, just in case. Just so you know.
Bring it in, man. Bring it in. Brothers don't shake, man. Brothers gotta hug.
Shoddy, we've never told you this. Stacken's actually 1.5 feet taller than I am.
Holy shit! He must be 8 foot tall.
He's a monster, man.
Yeah. So, but those are my 3 bold predictions for this draft, and if I can hit on 2 of them, I will be happy.
Who do the Chiefs want so goddamn bad? They want to move up.
They want a wide receiver, and I think they need to move up. I'm picking the Vikings at 12 here, just because I think that's when you're going to start to see a run on wide receivers go. You got the Jameson Williams, you got Drake London, you got Chris Olave, you got Garrett Wilson. There are so many good wide receivers here. I saw a report earlier today that the Chiefs don't have a first round grade for anyone that they think is going to be available to them at 29 or 30.
Yep.
And Brett Veach has 8 picks in the first 4 rounds, 2 in each of the first 4 rounds. He's very aggressive. We saw that with him going for Patrick Mahomes. So I think Kansas City is going to trade up. I have it with the Vikings potentially, but I actually think the Steelers are more likely to trade up with the Vikings to get a quarterback. And not to spoil anything, I think it could be either it depends on if Malik Willis falls to them or not, but I think the Steelers trading up from 20 to 12 make a lot of sense. But I just think the Chiefs need that sort of playmaker. They need a wide receiver. And because the Packers have 2 first-round picks, I think the Packers are going to kind of stand pat. Maybe they trade up for a little bit. I would be a little shocked if they do that, just given their MO. Or maybe they'll trade up and take Malik Willis because Jordan Love's not panning out. I don't know. But Kansas City wants to get ahead of everyone before that run goes. And I think the earliest a wide receiver goes is 8 to Atlanta, maybe 10 to the Jets. The Chiefs want to get in there before the pickings are gone.
I think the first receiver, absolutely. If it's not Atlanta at 8, I think you're right on the run, but I'm pretty sure that run's going to start at 10 with the Jets. So
Yep. I think 8. I think the Falcons at 8 are potentially the most intriguing pick in this, at least in the top 10, because they could go quarterback, wide receiver, or cornerback here. There's going to be a bevy of picks for them to go with. It's really, I think, the Falcons what the Falcons do will kind of shape what teams like the Chiefs and the Steelers do here in the first round.
I think it's interesting. You know, as it just so happens, I have 2 of the teams that have 2 picks. I have the Giants and I have the Jets. Or excuse me, I have the Giants and the Eagles. And then I also, Crins and we have shared custody over the Chiefs this year. So at 29 and 30. So it's interesting that you mentioned like the Packers and you've got the Chiefs. Those are teams that I think have a sense of urgency. Certainly the Packers do, given how what's happened literally in the last year for them, where they had all the Rodgers drama and they've had their top wide receiver leave. You've got Kansas City that also had its top wide receiver leave. You know, it's just interesting to me that both those teams have multiple first round picks and are certainly going to be candidates for new wide receivers and potentially moving up to get them. So that will be interesting to watch. And I mean, you look at the salary cap situation for the Packers, it's a little bit better than we maybe expected it would be at the end of the regular season because they don't have their number one receiver from last year. They got rid of him, so they have a little bit more room to work with. But Kansas City, they are literally paying a quarterback $500 million over the next however many years. So they are going to be up against it, and they're going to be looking for cheap talent. And so when you have potentially 7 first-round wide receivers, it makes a lot of sense for them to get in the business of that.
A lot of defensive guys, defensive linemen, a lot of offensive linemen. You got the Jets and the Jets and the Giants, both in the top 10. They both have 2 picks. They're not going to do this, but if they want to show some stones, because both of their offense is not very good, Jets or Giants, pick the top 2 receivers in the draft. If you're the Jets, make your top 2 picks 2 wide receivers. If you're the Giants, make your first 2 picks, make them both wide receivers. They won't do that. They'll take some fucking defensive end that'll suck. They'll take some offensive lineman who'll be garbage. They'll do that. Take a chance, for fuck's sakes.
I do think that the Giants have a chance to be the round 1 winners just because they pick 5 and 7. And I think you can get, if like Kayvon Thibodeau falls to them, I think they would easily take that up. And you're going to have one of the top offensive tackles. Maybe it's Ekwonu. Maybe you get a Charles Cross or
Evan Neal.
Evan Neal. Yeah, I think the Giants, if they don't go offensive line, defensive end with their first 2 picks, like if it's any combination of those 2, or maybe a Jermaine Johnson, if you want to take him at 7, whatever, fine. But I think that if the Giants can do that combination, I think they're the round 1 winners.
Okay, so let's maybe, if you don't mind, amusing me here with this exercise.
Yeah.
If you had to put your life on one of these receivers being the number 1, the Jordan or the Justin Jefferson in a couple of years, who is the guy you're going to put it on? Because I'm looking at all these guys. There's 5 guys in the top 25 or whatever the number is of overall players. And a couple of years ago, Justin Jefferson was not necessarily that guy that was number 1 in everybody's book. So if you were to put it all on one guy being the top receiver of this class, who is it going to be?
I think it would be Jameson Williams with Chris Olave a close second. And no, Williams is I know he's coming off of the torn ACL, but I think he's going, if he's healthy and whatnot, I think Jameson he would be the number 1 wide receiver in this class easily. I think he would easily be a top 10 pick if he wasn't coming off the torn ACL. But I think it'd be Wilson or Jameson Williams or Olave would be my top 2 wide receivers in this class.
I think it's a 1A, 1B, and 1C situation, which doesn't answer your question. If I had to pick one, I'm probably leaning towards Jameson Williams. But the third guy is the homer pick with a broken ankle. He's the best contested ball catcher I've seen come out of college in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Drake London's going to be a beast. So
my answer never goes to the Chiefs. That's
well, I just find it.
I don't want London to go to the Chiefs. I do not want London to go to the Packers, and those are the 2 spots I'm afraid he might end up with.
Just one, I would go with Olave as the one most likely to pan out. That would be my pick.
To me, I think the Olave thing has maybe the comparables to Justin Jefferson, given how much he killed people in college. And you're like, I know Garrett Wilson's very good, but how did Chris Olave become like the number 4 receiver out of this listing? If you potentially believe that, you can definitely say that Jameson Williams, I would agree, if healthy, probably would be the number 1 prospect. But I think Olave, he seemed to be one of these guys that was being ranked kind of low when I see some of these mock draft specialists.
I absolutely agree. Go ahead, Shanton.
Let me put it this way. I don't think there's a whole lot of bust potential with any of these guys. I think they're all going to be pretty damn good. And I'll go back to it. I think the least bust potential, I think he's Mike Evans 2.0. I think Drake London, Clay Helton, that offense, whatever, West Coast, some people didn't. He only had really a year and a half with the COVID year and all the bullshit. I'm telling you, again, Homer or whatever, he's Mike Evans, and there's almost no doubt that he's not very good to start, if not better.
I'm stunned that you didn't just take my question and say, well, the guy that these guys on the USC roster right now, they're better than everybody else.
You goddamn right. We coming.
I shouldn't have even brought it up. Couldn't help myself.
All right, let's kick it off here. Schottenkirk's number 1. Jacksonville, very rare they pick this high.
I should interject. I believe I can share the screen So I will
Oh, yeah,
up,
yep, you
I
can do
will
that.
try to pull up the pick order. So
Schottenkirk, number 1. Jacksonville seems like defensive end from Michigan's been the favorite. It was Thibodeau with Oregon months ago. It seems like it's going to be a defensive end of some sorts.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, a month ago, before they franchise tagged their left tackler, with Cam Robinson, there was some talk about potentially another offensive tackle, but they made that move, paid him all that money, so it kind of looks like a defensive end. There's some talk about that Trayvon Walker from Georgia, which I will throw my TV out the window if it's Trayvon Walker. I'll tell you that right now. But it's got to be either Thibodeau or Hutchinson, and I think they're going to go what they deem the safest pick in a draft that doesn't have a lot of elite talent. I think they're going to take Aiden Hutchinson.
That's your pick at number 1. Stacking, you're picking for Detroit. Another rare spot for them at number 2.
Yeah, if I do hear a television screen like get thrown out the window or whatever, if I hear a scream at 7:10, let's say, I'll know it's
Yeah, it's just me 4 miles away. Yeah,
I know. Yeah, but your voice will carry.
This is fucking incredible. You've been 4 miles away for like 5 years. Both come to the wedding. You're going to
Never
travel.
ran into each other at a gas station or anything.
No, it's really odd.
IG. You're both going to travel like 3 hours to the Sioux Falls. It's going to be just goddamn incredible.
So if Hutchinson was there for the Lions, I think they would take him without question. And now it becomes
You want this view here? This little view right here, like this here?
I like
that
this.
works for me.
I
think
like
that's
this.
good.
I'm tempted to just throw this draft all up in
That's
Oh,
what
God.
people, rumor sources to me say people are very concerned.
This is what I was afraid of, boys.
You're number 2.
I'm very tempted to go Malik Willis here.
God damn it.
I'm very tempted to,
I knew it.
but because they're the Lions, I'm going to give them Trayvon Walker, defensive end from Georgia. But don't be surprised. The stacking adage is here. If it's Malik Willis, don't say I didn't tell you so, because there's a very good possibility that it's him.
I totally agree.
I'm going to interject here from time to time with the top 50 from the ESPN list. I don't know that this is necessarily Mel Kiper or Todd McShay. I just saw a list of, on their draft cast thing, best available. Trayvon Walker, number 8 on that list. So
He's number 12 on Pro Football Focus. I'm looking at that right now. So
there you go. Yeah.
Charlie Hildebrand up at number 3 here, picking for the Houston Texans.
Well, the Houston Texans have some needs. They could go with a receiver, a corner, a safety, an edge rusher, or an offensive tackle. So kind of basically anything on defense. I'm going to go with a corner and was torn between an LSU and a Cincinnati corner. And since LSU has done so well at producing defensive backs recently, I will go with them taking Derek Stingley from LSU.
Doggone it.
The guy stacking, this seems to be the guy. The Vikings seem to, there's certain teams and certain spots every year. This seems to be the guy that is the popular pick among the Viking mock drafters. He goes number 3 here to Houston.
Yep, there is certainly, though, a lot of buzz coming up here that he is now kind of getting locked into that top 10 spot. But I don't see it being any other way he falls past 12. That is that's the floor for him. There's no way he falls past 12 to the Vikings.
he has the highest ceiling of anybody in the draft.
Yep. I think that's a great point, because he played so well as a freshman that everyone just expected his game to keep going. Like, you can't go almost any better than what he did there. So
Right.
I got the Jets here. Kayvon Thibodeau from Oregon. Similar shade of green. We'll go him at number 4 to the Jets. Then Marcus, we go across town to the Giants. Go across the stadium. Who they take at 5?
Yeah, we'll drive the little cart underneath the stadium to get from one locker room to the other here on this pick. So I know you have your dream that, the Giants should just pick the top 2 receivers. I'm not naive enough to do that here. I'm going to take Ikem Ekwonu, the offensive tackle from the Wolfpack of North Carolina State.
Is he the first
UNWO
Equanu?
Wolfpack music.
I'm sorry, Travis.
Is he the first Equanu to be ever drafted in the top 5?
I believe so. Yeah, I was just thinking that when I wrote out this this top 50, there are a lot of guys I wasn't willing to call juniors or the thirds because I don't know their dad. I don't know who they were. I did allow it for Derek Stingley Jr. because the Stingleys are a football family, but Ekwonu, I believe he's the first. So,
do you think he has a pet iguana named Ekwonu?
God damn it!
If he doesn't, he will now have the money to do so.
Yes, he will.
It seems like a good marketing opportunity.
Sure.
I don't know if there's any lizard wrangler places that do television commercials, but
go to the second five here. Schottenkirk. Carolina's up heavy on the quarterback here. Heavy rumors on they need a quarterback. Do they pick one here at number 6?
Much like stacking, don't be surprised if it's Malik Willis here, if it's Kenny Pickett, the quarterback. But I'm not going to do it. I'm going to take what I believe to be the best offense tackle in the draft. They need O-line as well. I think they'll fill a need and they'll find the Baker Mayfield or somebody else later on. And no, it is not Evan Neal. It will be Charles Cross.
You son of a bitch.
It'll be Charles Cross from Mississippi State.
Wow.
Wait for it to be said, damn it. Come on.
Wow.
Charles Cross.
This would be an upset. This is the first major shakeup I think we see.
Charles Cross, number 15 on the ESPN top 50. And Peter Schrager in his mock draft, he has Kenny Pickett going here at number 6. So that would be. I'm eager for a quarterback to be named Kenny or Ken, but number 6, that's ridiculous.
I think this would be a shock if Carolina goes anywhere other than quarterback, whether it be a Malik Willis, whether it be Kenny Pickett. And plus, fun fact with the Panthers, after this pick, they don't pick again until pick 137. So they need to hit a home run here. And I think it's got to be Kenny Pickett.
If they need to hit a home run, then they can't draft any quarterback in the first.
Well, that's true.
None of them
but David Tepper is a Pittsburgh alum, and I think he's going to have a say in this. And plus, they have not gotten the quarterback spot right here since Matt Rule's been around.
Yeah. Marcus, Jets up again. They got an offensive tackle. Mr. Jones, their quarterback, is pretty terrible, and he's still there. What else do we do at number 7 for the Giants?
Yeah, I guess on the quarterback front, I mean, it speaks more so to just how I feel about the quarterbacks in general. I just don't think any of them really deserve to go in the top 10. We know that that's not necessarily how it works in the past. But I am going to go with the strategy that was laid out earlier. Offensive line, it was their biggest need. Defensive edge rusher.
Holy crap.
What's that?
You can get these 2 offensive tackles. You can get both of them. Wow.
I could get both of them. And maybe you're going to talk me out of it right now because if the whole goal is to get these picks right. So if I get, if I take Evan Neal and they get one of them, that's pretty good.
So, they're probably going to get at least one of them. Yeah.
All right. So we'll do that. Evan Neal, even though they do need defensive end. So you talk me into it.
I like Krinz's idea of 2 receivers. I like Craxler's idea better of I'm just going to get 2 offensive tackles, and at least one of them will probably be decent.
It was San Francisco years ago picked 2 offensive linemen. They had 2 top 15 picks. Mike Iupati was one, and somebody else was the other, and I think they both turned out well.
On the big board here, the Ekwonu and Evan Neal are 2 and 3, so hard to argue with that.
Charlie Atlanta, they've got Marcus Mariota as the quarterback. They trade Matt Ryan. They almost won a Super Bowl. Atlanta in a bit of a rebuild. Yeah, Kyle Pitts last year. He was good. What do they need here at 8?
I've got Atlanta. I already forget which site I found this from. I think it was Pro Football Focus. It might have been somewhere else, though. I've got needs as receiver, defensive tackle, edge rusher, guard, and offensive tackle. We talked about a run of receivers coming soon. I don't know if anyone knows this. You could consider Atlanta a Southern state, though. And
really,
they frequently host the SEC title game. They see certain guys from a certain conference a lot. They seem to have a thing for Alabama receivers. I'm going to say that the Atlanta Falcons take Jameson Williams from Alabama.
Wow. Okay.
I've got him as 9th on the big board and the top receiver, so it makes sense. Based off my information, that's probably not right, but makes sense taking him at 8 then.
if the first 7 picks were to go what we had and Malik Willis was there, I think Atlanta runs to the table and takes the quarterback.
Yeah. Seattle, Seattle needs a quarterback here. Quarterback yet to be taken, Stacking.
Yep.
What do you like for Seattle? Maybe a lot of surprising moves. Devontae Adams getting traded. I would say one of the bigger stunners was Russell Wilson leaving, since the coach said a week before we're not trading him, and then they traded him.
Well, if you learn one thing in life, Pete Carroll's a liar. So
don't listen to fuckers.
So is Rick Spielman. I have no intention on trading.
I mean, it was the same language as what Spielman had used.
Yeah. Yep.
I have no intention until I do, and then I do.
I think Seattle is very surprised that this guy is still on the board at this point. I don't know where they would go if Sauce Gardner were off the board. They might go wide receiver. They could go quarterback. But I'm going to give Seattle here Sauce Gardner, cornerback from Cincinnati.
Stacking, if you had to be nicknamed after, I don't know, a sauce is a food, I guess, what would you pickle Stacking, what would you go for?
Well, I do love jelly beans, and I do love
Nathan Jelly Bean Stacking.
Yeah, but
if we're talking about sauce or spices, I'd want to be Papri.
I would say I would probably have to be honey mustard.
Garlic Stacking.
Honey mustard stack. God damn it.
Got a kid coming.
Of the marketing opportunities that are out there, Sauce Gardner has to have something going on with Buffalo Wild Wings, right? I mean, it just makes too much sense.
Or, I mean, it depends. Like, if he goes to Pittsburgh, what a perfect spot with Heinz 57 right there.
Oh, boy.
Also true.
Yeah, the Jets here at number 10. And I'm picking defensive end first. They could use some receivers. They could use a quarterback, but they're not going to do that. So we're going to go with another receiver, Garrett Wilson, Ohio State. In this spot right here, number 10. So 2 receivers taken. Washington up next, Schottenkirk. And they could use everything. All these teams seemingly could use everything because they're very bad. Washington, they could use a lot. What do they do here at 11?
Again, if the board falls this way and quarterbacks haven't been touched, they're going to be awfully tempted to take one. But yet again, I'm not going to do it. I think they're going to take probably the best player available and one of the best 5 players in the draft. Break the Vikings' hearts, but they're going to take Kyle Hamilton.
Oh, no.
Really good to get him.
Doggone it. That would be the best pick if Derek Stingley's not available for the Vikings and if they don't trade down.
Well, Stacking, the top 3 secondary guys have all been picked, and that appears to be the Vikings' biggest need.
It is.
So they're all gone. So,
yep. And so this is a prime spot for them to trade down to Pittsburgh at 20 or to the Chiefs 29 and 30. But if we don't do trades here in this mock draft, so they will go with a hometown product, and they're going to go with Jermaine Johnson III from Florida State.
Defensive end.
Right? Isn't he the third? I'm pretty sure he's the third.
Who cares, man?
First three is a second, but like Track said, who cares?
I think it's interesting because I agree that secondary is a major need for the Vikings. And yeah, if those 3 guys aren't there, then I'm probably not taking a Trent McDuffie or going any lower to take anybody else. But okay, Kyle Hamilton is a safety, and I think I would be glad to have him. Mm-hmm. Safety is not their biggest concern. And it's ironic because the guy who always drafted cornerbacks, those guys they're not here anymore. Now you have this new regime. We don't know what they're going to do, and they might take a corner anyway because it's such a position of need. So I don't know. It's a roundabout way of saying I'm very intrigued by what they're going to have to do on defense. I also think there's a certain urge that with an offensive-minded coach, you maybe want to make an offensive splash.
Yes, sir.
And so maybe it is a Drake London. Maybe it is, name any other receiver. I think in this situation, I'd want it to be Drake London, honestly. I mean, big-bodied receiver sounds pretty good to me. A perfect replacement. You would he's not going to be like Adam Thielen, but 2 big receivers is not a bad thing, and you can find slot receivers anywhere. So
I just don't think that they can draft Trent McDuffie here at 12. I think that's way too high. I think if you trade down, maybe you get an Andrew Booth from Clemson, Andrew Booth Jr. By the way, it's Jermaine Johnson the second. I apologize.
Yeah.
It is not the third. It is the second. I don't know if I would want Jermaine. I mean, Jermaine Johnson has a high motor. He plays really well. He's, like I said, he's from Eden Prairie, so that's right in your own backyard there.
For me, if the board falls this way with the first 11 picks before the Vikings and they get sniped, Hamilton and the 2 corners are gone, I think the 2 players I would want would be one of the receivers, or most people would consider it a reach. I would be perfectly fine with Tyler Linderbaum, the center from Iowa.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I would be okay with them taking Linderbaum. I think that would be fantastic.
This first 11 is basically a nightmare for the Vikings.
Yes. Yeah, this is like worst case scenario. The fact that there's not 1 quarterback gone or 2 quarterbacks gone, yeah, this is bad. This is where the Vikings are frantically calling the Chiefs and the Steelers, asking if they want to.
Yep.
I feel like there's going to be a quarterback taken here, and then that's going to bump somebody down.
Yep, I agree. I'll be stunned if there's not a quarterback in the top 11.
I think, honestly, I don't look at this as being that bad. I mean, it sort of sheds some light on how good. I mean, because we don't know where they're going to go. It's not obvious what position they should be taking. There are still some options here if they do decide to pick at 12. I agree. Yeah, it's probably a better situation to just trade down at that point. It would be nice to have more picks in that top 60 like we always talk about. And this might be the particular year for that, but they're going to get a good player if they do stay at 12.
Yes.
Scrolling down here the list, Houston at 13. Charlie, you're up here. You picked Derek Stingley the first time around. Who do you got for number 2 here?
I have the top 2 needs for Atlanta being a corner and a receiver. After taking care of the corner, they decide to go receiver and get Schottenkirk's guy, Drake London.
There we go. Drake London goes to Houston.
So the guy with the longest neck in the NFL is going to throw it to possibly the guy who can get those contested balls and have a long ass vertical and reach. That's
Texas forever.
I made a promise to myself: whoever drafts Drake London, I'm going to buy a jersey. Having to buy a Houston Texans jersey might make me cry, but I'll do it.
Hey, I'm buying a Pierre Strong jersey, so wherever he goes.
Just wait for him to flame out and go to the next team.
Maybe we'll order them together, Stack, so we can get a discount.
Yeah, there we go. Wait, are you getting a Pierre Strong jersey as well?
I'm thinking about it.
London? All right, very good.
Thinking about it.
Baltimore at 14. I've got him. We're going to go big bastard. Jordan Davis.
Good pick.
Georgia.
Good pick.
That's also a pick where that could.
That's such a Ravens pick.
Be a solid guy, just a big son of a gun. If he ends up with the Vikings, that's.
Yep.
I'm not going to be too upset about that. So, Philadelphia at 15. They've got a couple here coming up. Marcus, Philadelphia at 15 made the playoffs. Not very good though. What do we got here for Philadelphia? You know what? If they would have maybe traded or drafted that receiver from LSU a couple years ago, maybe they wouldn't have to look for one in this draft.
Yeah,
hey, Marcus, no pressure, but do you have both Eagles picks?
I do have both Eagles picks,
okay.
Yeah.
There's one guy, if he's available here or if he's still available at 18 and you don't take him either spot, I'm driving to your house right now to kick you right in the nuts.
Just tell me what it is. I already had Travis influence my second Giants pick earlier.
No, you got to figure it out. He plays defense. He plays defense. I'll play that.
But I'm going to be upset.
Defense helps. Yeah, I believe that based on I don't know. I don't want to be a prisoner to this big board, but I am looking at and I'm probably going to pick the wrong guy, but I'm going to go with Nakobe Dean, inside linebacker, Utah, right here.
Whoa! Wait, what?
I'm sorry. Nakobe Dean went to Georgia, but yes.
Oh yeah, sorry. I was looking at Devin Lloyd,
right.
Dean from Georgia, national champs.
There you go. Bingo.
Was that the guy?
Well,
you don't tell me then. If I got it wrong, then forget it.
Okay.
All right. If you are, Philadelphia has got 15 and 18. New Orleans has 16 and 19. and they made some swaps. If you get both of the Georgia guys there that went back to back, if you get both of them, I think that'd be great. Schottenkirk, New Orleans, their first of 2 picks. New Orleans at 16.
So to end this quarterback light draft, I'm gonna have to take a quarterback here if the board falls this way. Comes down to, they like Kenny Pickett? Do they like Malik Willis? I think Willis has the higher upside. So against my better judgment, I'm gonna take Malik Willis.
Malik Willis goes to New Orleans. Here at New Orleans, they could, yeah.
Good Morning Football did a spotlight on the University of on Liberty, and they're like, "Where is this place?" And I was like, "Lynchburg, Virginia. They're known as the Flames." And they're like, "Oh, they're in some place in Virginia." Like, you got to come on, guys. You got to understand here where you got to get the D1 mascots right. I could take Peter Schrager to school.
Gonna take him to school. You're up. Go Chargers. Go number 17.
You know what? They've made a lot of investments on the defensive line, or on the defensive side of the football here in free agency or with trades and whatnot. I think they're going to go offense here. I think wide receiver is a definite possibility. And if I think they're going to be, they're going to be surprised that this guy's here, because I think he's actually going to go to Baltimore at 14. I'm going to give them Trevor Penning, offensive tackle from Northern Iowa.
That's who I was going to give for the Saints if the quarterback wasn't available. Good pick.
Chargers, they had who's the guy? Which Slater for the Chargers last year did pretty good.
Mm-hmm. And
probably
Travis,
the best rookie season for a tackle ever.
You and I just have this connection here. This is
me and everybody else. Philadelphia, Marcus. They picked the linebacker from Georgia. What do they do here with their second first-round pick?
Get Google Maps ready. Get ready to come kick me in the nuts. It's fine. I went kind of with my number 18 list first, thinking I was going to please David. There is no pleasing David. It's ironic that both these picks for Philadelphia are not their own. First pick was from Miami. This pick from the Saints. I'm taking Trent McDuffie, the corner from Washington.
You better start running, fella.
Good thing you have a 3-hour head. You have a 4-hour head start on Schottenkirk, so you can go to a local sporting goods store and get a nut cup.
I do. I got a good head start here.
Do you like the Purdue defensive end?
No, he had the right position, the wrong school, and the wrong linebacker at 15. It's Devin Lloyd at 15. Yeah.
Oh well.
You've got him here at 19, New Orleans. They've got the quarterback of the future. He'll be great. Who do they pick here at 19?
Well, along your lines of pairing some people together positionally.
Hey, pick 2 quarterbacks. Pick 2 quarterbacks.
What does a quarterback need? 2 things. He needs a tackle and he needs a receiver, right? And I like this receiver a lot, so I'm going to go quarterback. I'm going to come back with a receiver. I'm going to give them Chris Olave.
Well, goddamn, I think New Orleans would be pretty happy with that.
Sure would. Would.
Charlie, Pittsburgh. It seems like a spot for a quarterback. Our second taken, if that would be the case. They need one. One of them died, and the other one is Frank. So take your pick there. I know where I'm going. Who do you take for Pittsburgh at 20?
I've got Pittsburgh needs at quarterback, offensive tackle, receiver, safety, and corner. And since most of there's still some other guys out there at offensive tackle and receiver and safety and corner. But since the real primo guys they'd want are probably gone, and it seems like this is just so easy that I can't say no to it. Even though I don't know if it's what they're actually going to do, I'm going Pittsburgh takes Kenny Pickett out of Pittsburgh.
Kenny Pickett, Pittsburgh stays in Pittsburgh. That seems to be the spot. If not him, somebody. You look at Pittsburgh. You look at potentially New Orleans. You look at Atlanta. I mean, a lot of teams have needs at quarterback, but you just don't know if any of these guys are they worth that pick. Does anybody here like any of the quarterbacks? Depending on where they go. Anybody like Malik Willis? Anybody like Kenny Pickett? Anybody like anybody else?
My favorite quarterback in the draft is Desmond Ridder.
Desmond Ridder.
What happened to Carson Strong?
Knee injuries.
Yeah.
I don't
like
really like any of the quarterbacks in the first round. I think there's some guys, if they went to the right team, I'd be like, well, yeah, that's good in the second round, but none that I would be excited about getting in round one.
Matt Corral's interesting too.
I was just going to say, if Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis are off the board, and if Pittsburgh's still looking at a quarterback, either if they trade up or whatnot, Matt Corral is the guy. I think he's going to be the third quarterback taken in this first round.
I like Malik Willis. Probably not as a top 10 pick, but at that point, it's just a matter of if you get him and if you're able to develop him. I think Pittsburgh could be a good situation for him, just given how steady the coaching situation always is there. Granted, I think Malik Willis definitely pretty raw. He's got a lot he's got to figure out. Liberty, you're not playing in a pro style offense. Hugh Freeze, he's not interested in that. So. I think there's going to be a big learning curve. Ideally, you'd like to see him go somewhere where he doesn't need to play right away. And New Orleans in this situation probably would be that, for a year maybe. I don't know. Pittsburgh in this situation appears a little bit more desperate now to have somebody start right away. So, and that's not even counting some of the teams we kind of blew past that might be one. Carolina, yeah, he's probably starting right away. I don't know.
To circle back all the way up to number 2 with this Malik Willis talk, I honestly think I will not be shocked at all if the Lions take him.
No,
as far as a percent chance, I'm 30-40%. I think it's relatively likely that they take him at 2.
I think if Aiden Hutchinson goes number 1, then I think the chance that they go with Willis goes up to probably 60 to 70%.
Yeah.
So then he would. I mean, you got Jared Goff there. He's fine for another year or two. You got Carolina at 6. You maybe, and when we talk about quarterbacks, you could maybe have 2 in the top 6.
Right.
Just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
How bad does Sam Howell have to feel to not go out or like to leave with Javonte Williams and all those guys last year with UNC? I mean, his stock is just plummeted.
There's a lot of buzz that he's starting to resurface. That he might be the end of the first round at the shock late. If the Lions don't take Willis at 2, I've heard a lot of buzz this week that Howell might be their guy at 32.
Yep.
Didn't even get to be on campus at North Carolina when they made their run to the national title game either. He's already gone working out by then.
Scrolling down a little bit here, we got New England at 21. They seem to have found a quarterback who's good enough, and Mac Jones. Taking a linebacker from Utah, Devin Lloyd.
Bingo.
To New England. Green Bay.
Let me make my bold prediction since Stacky got his off. Fit has a lot to do with it, but I'm convinced on Lloyd no matter where he goes. But if Lloyd goes to New England, Devin Lloyd's a Hall of Fame player.
I think this is one of the locks of the first round. Devin Lloyd to New England. If Philly, I think it's either him to Philly or New England. I don't see any other spot there.
Green Bay could use a receiver. They're at number 22 stacking. Green Bay usually makes weird picks in the drafts.
They do. And you know what? What's really weird in all this, Mason Crosby is really old. And I think there is isn't there a punter that is really good?
Matt Araiza, yes.
Yeah, Matt Araiza. So watch out for Green Bay to go with Matt Araiza here. That's the pick I want for Green Bay. But
you say you want that. You're not going to like it when they keep pinning the Vikings inside their own 4-yard.
But that's because he's going to have to punt 15 times a game because Aaron Rodgers won't have anyone to throw to. As much as I want Matt Araiza there. I've seen Christian Watson from North Dakota State there. I don't know if that's
that North Dakota State guy. Please, I'm begging you.
I would love that. Apparently he has some drops, and if he was so good, maybe they would have thrown the ball a little more to him. But I'm not going there. I am going to go with, and I hope I'm wrong on this. Fingers crossed, Green Bay does something stupid. I'm going to go with Jahan Dotson, wide receiver out of Penn State.
Interesting.
Receiver from Penn State. Goes to Green Bay at 22. Charlie, we go to the desert. The quarterback seems to be unhappy. What do you do with Arizona? You're number 23.
I've got team needs at Arizona as edge rusher, corner, offensive tackle, defensive tackle, and receiver. It's tough to tell with quarterback. He could be, depending on the day, flip a coin on it. I'm going to go with an edge rusher, though. I have heard how to pronounce this guy's name. I forgot, though. The defensive end from Purdue, George, the last name starts with a K.
Kalitis.
I've got one rule in life, Charlie, and for everybody else too. This is one rule I just came up with a few weeks ago, and I've been studying the NFL draft here. When you get a chance to take a white guy named George from Purdue, you do it.
Yeah. Do it. And
George Costanza go to Purdue?
no.
Yeah, how do you think he afforded that rent in New York City, Stackett?
That's very
I mean,
true.
it wasn't Penske material, so no, he didn't go to Purdue.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good. A lot of deep references. Marcus, you go to the Cowboys, number 24. They did good, but they didn't win a playoff game. The Minnesota Twins of the football, Dallas Cowboys, number 24.
And there are so many goddamn receivers here that I could take.
No,
It is so tempting, but we are taking Tyler Linderbaum, the center from Iowa here.
you redeemed yourself. I'll turn the
Right.
car off. I'm not going to kick you in the nuts.
All right, thank you for that.
The nuts kicking is off for one pick. Shit, I'm up. Buffalo. Buffalo, you did real good. You did real goddamn good. I'm gonna give you a cornerback from Clemson. Go Clemson.
Ooh.
Nice pick.
Andrew
Ooh.
Booth Jr.
I
David
think-
Titans.
I think they are just going to say on Buffalo here. They're right now. I think my pick to win the Super Bowl this year, but I would give them Breece Hall from Iowa State,
There's Hall, Iowa State.
running back.
The running back.
He's really good. My rule is don't take running backs in round one, though.
I agree, but it's just my thought.
Stratton-Kirk, Tennessee Titans, the most exciting team I've seen in quite many years. What do they have here, number 26?
They need a receiver with the AJ Brown situation. I mean, they need receiver anyway, but with that situation, it only amplifies two guys potentially. Sky Moore from Western Michigan is going to be the first round pick. That might surprise a few people. George Pickens has been very much injury plagued with Georgia. Elite talent. Some believe that.
Is that Carl's son? Tell me that's Carl's son.
I do not believe so.
Shit.
If George Pickens stays healthy, there are some people that I trust that think he has a ceiling as high as basically any receiver in the draft. But I'm going to go a safer route. I'm going to take an offensive guard who I love and I've loved for a couple of years, Zion Johnson from Boston College.
Zion Johnson. He's a guard.
Zion Johnson, Boston College, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It would be worth mentioning here on the Breece Hall pick that would be the biggest reach on the board we've had. He's at 46 on this list. Zion Johnson 33, but then
On
everybody
the
else.
list I've got, and I think Shotty has the same list, it's got Breece Hall as 57th on the
Yeah.
pick.
So there
Are
you
you
go.
looking at Pro Football Focus, Shirley?
I think it was Pro Football Focus. I copy and pasted it, so I don't have the website. I'm 70% sure it was Pro Football Focus.
Just humor me for a second, because on Pro Football Focus, we've got say 6 picks left in the first round, right?
Yep.
And we got, let me see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's still 10 guys that Pro Football Focus has as first round grades that haven't been picked yet.
Coming up next, number 27. Nathan, you have Tampa Bay. Well, maybe a lot of teams here that, Desmond Ridder, will see if he's any good. Like Tennessee could use, Ryan Tannehill. He peaked. Tampa could obviously use a guy. They want to win it all right now.
Yep.
But Green Bay may as well take a second guy. That ain't going to happen. I really want Green Bay to take a quarterback. See what his reaction is. But you have Detroit there at 32. Tampa Bay stacking. One more go around for Brady. 45 years old. They'll be there. What do they do here one last time?
I don't know that I want Schottenkirk's thought on this here, because I'm tempted to go offensive line here, especially with Ali Marpet retiring. I think that's a significant loss, but I think maybe if this guy's still around, I think they're going to go help the secondary. a bit. So I'm going to give them Trent McDuffie, the cornerback from Washington here.
He has been taken. Yeah, I took him.
What? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, boy, it's the Minnesota
Number
Vikings
18.
all over again.
Number 18 to Philadelphia.
Channeling
Oh,
your
I'm
best
so
advice.
sorry.
Way to keep up, stacking.
All right, I'm so sorry here. So let's go. Yeah, you know what? Screw it. You know what? Ndamukong Suh ain't going to be around forever. Got to pair this guy up with Vitavia. Let's go Travis Jones, defensive lineman from UConn.
Wow. Wow.
Hey,
Oh, wow. God damn.
Travis Jones.
Okay.
defensive
Hey,
by UConn?
let me put it this way. If Travis Jones is drafted before Devontae Wyatt, I'll do whatever you guys want me to do. It's not happening. I honestly like Travis
Invade
Jones a lot.
Russia.
Sure, fucking sign me up. I'll do it. But I like Travis Jones a lot. But if the board falls that way and the defensive lineman is what they're going after, 1,000,000% it's Devontae Wyatt.
Okay, that's fine.
That's fine. We'll go with, Charlie, Green Bay Packers, number 28.
I've got the top two needs as a receiver and offensive tackle, and since Stacken already gave them a receiver, I guess there's an two offensive tackles, one from Tulsa and one from Central Michigan. I would assume the one playing in the MAC is used to playing in the cold more. So I guess we'll go with the Packers taking Bernard. I don't know how you pronounce his last name. I'm going to assume it's Raymond or Ryman.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Raymond.
yep, Raymond.
I'm going to be
Bernard.
honest. I did not pay a lot of attention to Central Michigan's offensive line this year.
Are you kidding
I'd
me?
be lying if I pretended I did, but
Well, hey, that's probably one of two MAC players going in the first round this year.
Bernard.
yeah, he on the list I had, was the number 4 offensive tackle and 18th on the big board. So
He's-
Western Michigan.
Central. Michigan.
Central Michigan.
Central Michigan. C. Michigan. All right, I am up here with Kansas City. We're going to take Daxton Hill, safety from Michigan.
Good pick.
Mm-hmm.
For number 29, Marcus, take another safety, please.
Oh, I'm not going to be doing that.
right.
Based on our conversation we had before, I'm looking at a receiver, and honestly, I had flagged Christian Watson from NDSU here, but I'm looking at number 17 on this big board from ESPN, and I'm going to have them take Chris Olave. So
He's gone.
Yeah, he gone.
New Orleans at
I
19.
took
Oh
him
my
at 19.
God! The Trexler pulled the Stacken.
please rip me. Yeah, please rip me. Okay, they are going to take Christian Watson then.
Just like that.
What a deal.
He's good. Like I would love to just sit here and say he sucks because he went to NDSU. I can't do that. He does have some drop problems for sure, but sub 4.4 speed, that's hard to argue with. And I think Andy Reid will find some ways to use him. So
Pierre Strong, a sub 4.4 speed. Maybe he should go to Kansas City.
maybe he should be a wide receiver.
Christian
Hey,
Watson.
people
Christian
thought Jamar Chase had drops problems too. and he
Yeah.
was okay
Yeah.
last year.
Watson going to the first round is definitely intriguing. And I mean, like Traxler said, there's no arguing the talent. I kind of think he's early second round, but Kansas City's fucking offensive geniuses. That would be a very interesting fit.
Also, if Olave would fall to Kansas City, that would just seem
Oh,
terrible
God.
for everyone else in the AFC.
Olave ain't falling past Green Bay.
Draft Juju Smith in fantasy this year, boys.
You have the 2 Super Bowl teams, Cincinnati and Detroit, here at 31-32. Remember how great that game was. Bengals at 31. David.
Detroit with that defensive stop to win the Super Bowl, what they're known for.
Jared Goff just fucking overthrew the guy. Amon Brown just overthrew him. Should have won. Detroit should have won it last year. Cincinnati had a real good year. Very surprising they made the Super Bowl. What do we got here at 31?
Well, I'm in a pickle because there's one player that's still available, and I referenced him earlier that I think is an absolute lock first round. Well, actually, 2 players now. I'm looking at the big board here. One player doesn't fit their needs, but the talent that he is, in my opinion, I'm going to give you 3 names here. The first one is who I think they wind up with, because I don't think the board's going to fall as we have it going here. I think they would take Kenyon Green, guard from Texas A&M. They need offensive line help very desperately. But the way it's situated, Tyler Smith, the tackle from Tulsa, is still available. Very intriguing. But I gotta go best player available, and I'm gonna take Devontae Wyatt. Mainly because he's a first round pick, and I just want him.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I totally overlooked him. I just went with, I thought was the best defensive lineman at that point, so I totally overlooked him for Tampa. So that was my bad. I really screwed this up, guys. I am sorry. But you know what? For Detroit here, we need to get that fifth-year option. So let's go with Matt Corral, quarterback, Ole Miss.
Very, very nice pick.
Matt Corral can sit on the bench and with that knee injury in the Sugar Bowl. So coming off of that, he can sit a year. And that is your first round. We had 3 quarterbacks. 5 receivers. A guy, a Central Michigan guy, Connecticut guy, a Boston College guy, North Dakota State guy. So there we go.
I screwed up on the second Kansas City pick because I literally picked a North Dakota State guy over a Gopher. I should have picked Boye Mafe, the pass rusher, but I do think wide receiver is probably going to end up being a bigger need for Kansas City than necessarily a pass rusher. So I guess I'll have to look at that.
Who are the top players available here in the second round?
So I believe we're starting off with Treylon Burks, number 26, the wide receiver from Arkansas. He did not go. And then David flirted with Kenyon Green, the offensive guard from Texas A&M, but he was not taken, so he's 27. Let's see, we had Andrew Booth go. So we got David Ojabo, the linebacker from Michigan, available. Sure. Kyler Gordon, cornerback. Washington, Mafe from the Gophers. And then Quay Walker, linebacker, Georgia. And then Desmond Ritter, the quarterback for Cincinnati at 36. So
the top people on Pro Football Focus that didn't go, just to piggyback off of that, Sky Moore. They love Sky Moore, receiver from Western Michigan. Tyler Smith, tackle from Tulsa, 25. A couple more here. Give me a second. The safety from Georgia, this number 26, didn't go. George Pickens, receiver number 28, didn't go. Elam's the safety from corner from Florida, didn't go. So yeah, there's a bunch of disagreement between ESPN and Pro Football Focus per usual.
Yeah, and worth noting here that they had Kenneth Walker ahead of Breece Hall as the top running back. So, and that's I don't think you can necessarily go wrong with Breece Hall as the top running back. I do have a couple, I guess, what I would call, regional prop bets that I would like to kind of put your way, or regional questions at least. Pierre Strong, we're already talking about him. Does he go in the first 2 days of the draft? Yes or no?
I think he goes late round 4. So yeah.
So that'd be a no.
So maybe a no. Sorry, shit.
I would say no. I would say
top three rounds.
The second day, is that rounds 2 and 3?
Yes.
Yep.
I think he would go in round 4 also. I don't think he goes in the first 2 days then.
Well, so do we think that 5 running backs or 6 running backs are going to get drafted by the end of round 3?
I don't, honestly.
Okay.
I would say that in a typical year that does happen, correct? So I would think that it will, but I don't know that for certain,
So I'm gonna play with a caveat here. If there are 6 running backs that go in the first 3 rounds, then yes, Pierre Strong goes. But if there are 5 or under, then I think Pierre Strong gets drafted early, day 3, and I mean early in the 4th round.
Well, I might be stepping on toes, Traxler, and that's kind of what I'm known to do. But yeah. I hope one of your regional questions. But I just thought of one. The names escape me, but the offensive tackle from NDSU.
Yeah.
Who goes first? Strong or the tackle from NDSU? Because they're kind of in the same range.
They are in the same range, yeah.
Well, let's go. Whatever the fuck his name is.
It's like it starts with a V, I think, and I think he goes in the second round.
Let's see, that was last year.
His first name's Matt.
Yeah, isn't it Cordell Volson, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's another one. I thought there were 2 of them. Whatever. Keep going. Sorry.
The other major question, and this could be draft related, it might not be, but obviously Chris Oladokun getting some buzz, with teams doing workouts, that sort of thing. I think it's probably a stretch to say he will get drafted. We've been through this thing before with other players from SDSU and they don't get taken. Mm-hmm. My question is does he at any point in his football career make a 53-man roster in the NFL? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. I would think that because they're, maybe they're just covering their bases and talking to this guy, but at least makes you think that a few places like him enough to potentially put him on the roster someday. But I would tend to agree that I don't think
that he's even getting looks. It's like,
how great would it be if he signs with the Chiefs as an undrafted free agent to go with Pierre Strong? Oh my gosh, I might just.
Oh God.
Oh man, excitement abounds. I think we have a Matt Walesko from North Dakota.
That's what I was talking about.
Oh yeah, from North Dakota. Yeah, he's
bad. Yes, my bad.
Yeah.
But there also is a guy, it's like Volson or whatever from
North
Dakota State.
Well, I was talking about the UND guy because he's in the same range as Strong.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, it's interesting to me that the Penning guy from Northern Iowa. I mean, he's a monster of a man, and because SDSU played him a bunch over the last however many years, you get to he sticks out like a sore thumb even amongst big offensive linemen, and for him to be potentially a top 20 pick is quite something.
Well, everybody raves for how big he is. Everybody raves that he's got unbelievable feet, which obviously is, but he should. It would be stunning if he wasn't a top 20 pick, which is crazy for a guy coming out of Northern Iowa.
Yeah, I mean, SDSU has had good pass rushers, and you're like, why can they never get any decent rush against Northern Iowa? They have all these, white, not very mobile quarterbacks anymore, and it's like, oh yeah, top 20 offensive tackle helps keep that guy upright. So
his brother is also at Northern Iowa as well, I think.
You like James Cook, running back from Georgia?
I do. I would love it if he ended up with the Vikings. But I don't know if that's remotely possible or whatnot if they're looking at it. But he is breaking.
Well, I mean, it's remotely possible, Stan.
Not
likely, but it's certainly possible.
Yeah, that's very true.
I don't think he's going in the top 11.
No. But I think pairing him up with his brother would be good. And I don't know, is he more durable than Dalvin at this point?
There's a lot of people that have said that James Cook might be the most versatile running back in the draft for whatever that's worth. Honestly, this running back class as a whole, I'm very down on.
So you're not strong on it, is that?
All right,
you're on fire tonight. You're on fire.
Is this a good draft for him because it doesn't appear that running back is loaded? Is this a good draft for Pierre Strong?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Maybe. Well, you run a 4.37 in Indy. I think that alone helps your case more than anything.
And you run that number after putting what he put on tape. Yes, it's a good year to be Pierre Strong. There's no doubt. Mm-hmm. He would be drafted in any year, but this year he'll be drafted higher than he would have been otherwise.
I also think that, you think about these past people, because that's my whole thing is we get past these drafts, Cade Johnson wasn't picked, and you could go down the list of maybe people that they're like, oh, he's a surefire pick. To me, you look at Pierre Strong and then you look at Cade Johnson, you're like, yeah, Pierre Strong's better. It's not, it's pretty clear once you actually compare the two. You're like, okay, yeah, I see this guy potentially being a top 100 pick and why the other guy didn't get picked at all. And exactly what you said, when you're sub, 4.4 at the combine, that can only help.
I may go late 5th on him. We'll see. But it's a good. If there are 6 running backs picked before him, he could maybe be number 6. So drafts. Charlie, did you like it the way the draft used to be, where it was all on Saturday, Sunday?
I liked it more that way than they do it now. I understand why they do it now because they want to make the NFL a 12-month-a-year sport to always be in the public eye, which I think is not necessary. But if you want to do it, I suppose that would be the way to do it, to have it on prime time. But I definitely liked it more when it was just nope, half of it on Saturday, other half on Sunday.
I would be in agreement there.
I think we might be overlooking just how long those days were. That at the end with the Saturday, I remember there was one year. Didn't the first round take like 6 hours or 7?
It did, but that was when they were 15 minutes a pick. So that was.
And I mean the first round now I think still can take 4 hours or more, but I've kind of warmed up to how it is now. I don't watch on Saturday, but I like how it's just pretty much a breakneck pace. They're going about as fast as they can, and Friday can be sort of a drag when your favorite team has the picks and then they just keep trading and they never take anybody. But
that's always
sounds like you're a Vikings fan.
I might be a Vikings fan.
I think I will be watching the NFL Network a lot more this year. Mel Kiper Jr. is not vaccinated, so he will not be in Vegas for it, which is odd that this didn't come up last year when the draft was in Cleveland. But I think
as much spray as he puts in his hair, I'm assuming he's immune to everything to start with.
It could be.
But maybe not.
I don't know. Maybe Schottenkirk, you've seen this, or Marcus or someone. I haven't seen who's hosting the draft this year. Last year it was Mike Greenberg.
Yeah,
he will be. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, then it's all the more reason to leave.
Wheel turn Stacken's taking on Greenberg. Favorite guy, but you liked Mike, and he said, "Big Mike, fuck you. I'm Mike, and kick you and your kid to the goddamn curb."
And
has Stacken seen the latest Golic news?
Well, like what? Sydney got married.
No.
Jenny Golic.
No. Wow, you're off in the weeds. I know what you're talking about. Trust me, because I'm a Golic fan myself.
Yeah.
But I just mean senior and junior. Have you heard the announcement a few weeks ago?
They're doing the ABC 57 kickoff show or something.
Nope.
Okay, we're not doing the Fix Six shirts. That's not what we're talking about. Then I don't know.
They're pairing up for a show, DraftKings. They're getting into more content. It's gonna be senior and junior. They're doing I'm pretty sure a daily show for DraftKings throughout the season.
Nice. Are they going to do that through like Meadowlark and like with pairing up with Dan Le Batard?
I believe so. Yes, I believe that's an aspect of it. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Golic, first hour, ranking best sandwiches in each NFL city.
Yeah, there you go.
We had a moment there though where like
Juicy Lucy
Stacken had a like Kardashian like level of knowledge of what the hell was going on with the Golics. That was something else.
I don't even listen to their podcast. I should. The Golic family podcast.
Dude, you have to. It's fantastic. I love it.
I know it's very good stuff.
You know what they're going to call the show, Stacken?
What?
You know what they call the show?
What do they call the show?
Mike and Mike.
Hey. Well, actually, I think it's funny because Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk did he joined, or Mike Golic Sr. joined him on Mondays during the football season on Pro Football Talk, and Florio was like, "Oh, we could name the show Mike and Mike. No one's ever done that before."
Yeah, didn't they go by like Mike and also Mike was what it was?
Yeah, something like that.
Big Mike, little Mike.
Yeah, for the record, I will be watching NFL Network, or I know that Reese Davis and the College Game Day people will be on ABC. I have not really watched that in the past, but there is under no circumstances will I be watching the main ESPN broadcast.
I'm going to watch the main ESPN for like 5 picks. I just want to see how it looks, and then I'm going to be like, this is weird. I don't need to know, like, Mel Kiper, if he's taking bathroom breaks at his house or what the pumpkin pie situation's like this year. I don't need to know that. Just give me Rich Eisen and NFL Network.
The only positive for me and Trax are out of the main ESPN coverage. Greenberg sucks, fucking McShay, Kiper, the whole bit. But they got Laura Rutledge, aka Laura Butledge, so I'll be taking a look.
Well, that's when I thought maybe Laura Rutledge was going to be hosting this year, because I listen, with the NBA playoffs and whatnot going on, like normally that would be a Friday night deal for ESPN. I don't know what's going to happen this year with maybe they will, like, apart from the Grizzlies and Timberwolves. Yeah, they play Friday.
Yeah,
I mean,
they play on Friday.
6, baby.
They should be up 3-1. That is like that is.
Tell me about it.
That is possibly the most embarrassing letdown in Minnesota sports history.
Hey, the good thing is that it is 2-2.
Right.
They redeemed themselves in
Right.
Game 4. It is.
You
They
just
showed
know
they
it's
can.
going to come down to a Game 7, and that's going to be the game. I mean, that's
Right.
But Travis, I even told you, like at the beginning, like this was a great matchup for the Timberwolves. Both teams split the season series at home. They're both really high offenses. Like I thought there was a really good chance that the Timberwolves pull off the upset here. And
Let me make it known.
Oh,
If
good.
somehow they win Game 5 and they got a Game 6 at home to win the series, I will absolutely volunteer myself to be the protester to ensure the victory.
yes. Oh, but wait. Would you have to undergo a sex change because all three
Well-
have been women so far? So.
I don't know.
We can make it happen. We can make it
I don't know
happen.
if that can be done in a week, but my thing on this, and like I was definitely in the classic Minnesota sports. Of course, this happened in Game 3. To me, I agreed that like as it stands with that game, the series should be over, but it is 2-2, and a typical Minnesota sports team would have
giving you a
lost.
little bit of hope. Like, if we can just.
Yeah, but they would have lost last night, and
Yeah,
it would've-
absolutely.
it would have been a 5 or 6 game thing, with no hope. They have shown it in 3 of the 4 games that they were the better team, and it's just a matter of closing it out with 2 more wins. So that's.
And I love Finch as a head coach, but how do you not call a timeout during a 21-0 run? Like it
Pretty
just
bad.
doesn't
Pretty
make any sense. It just is awful.
Terrible. And it's terrible that a young team couldn't figure it out themselves either. There's a blame to
Right.
go around for everybody.
Yes.
But like Track said, typical Minnesota sports team nationally and Vegas odds, Memphis has been favored in every game. The fact that it's 2-2, and like you said, we've been the better team to 3 of the 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
I've been relatively impressed, and yes, Game 3 is going to haunt you if you don't win the series. But I got a sneaking suspicion this thing's going 7. So
Mm-hmm.
You got Golden State looking good. You feel like it's either going to be Golden State or Phoenix. I feel like that gap's closed a little bit.
all it comes down to the injury with Booker.
Yeah. Well, and even
if Curry can stay healthy, is one of these teams going to? Chris Paul, is he going to get hurt?
Right.
Feels like we're destined for a Phoenix Golden State conference final, and I guess sign me up for that because that should be great.
Can one of these teams just complete a sweep? Like Golden State couldn't do it today. Can Boston do it tomorrow? Can
Yeah, how about them Nets? Holy shit.
it's just so bad.
Gentlemen sweeps all the way around.
Is this going to deter teams from doing kind of what the Lakers did and what the Nets did, or
I sure hope so.
Hey, we're gonna bring in whoever. We're gonna bring on our big 3, and
Well,
It's harder than it looks.
I get that it's a little harder than it looks, but you just have to think of the personnel around there too. I don't think it's a bad idea to. I mean, think about what Boston did, and like Miami had success with Chris Bosh and D Wade and LeBron. I think you just have to look at who you're bringing in. Like Kyrie Irving, he sucks. He's a terrible person. James Harden, a selfish bastard. He's awful. Like who are you surrounding Kevin Durant with? And like this thing seemed just kind of destined to fail, especially with Kyrie Irving not being able to play home games for the majority of the season. And now it's just KD and Kyrie. Like what are we expecting Ben Simmons to do tomorrow? I hope he goes out.
He ain't gonna play now. He ain't gonna play now.
He's not.
He's
He's
out.
out. Oh,
Stick out like a sore thumb on the bench.
very
Well,
good. Then give me a Boston sweep.
The biggest indication that Ben Simmons wasn't going to play tomorrow night was that fucking outfit he had on last night. So, Jesus Christ Almighty.
Like Charlie, Ben Simmons sucks generally, but he sat out the entire season. Other people are not pleased with him. Like, if you're his teammate, how can you not say, dude, grow a pair of nuts and fucking play a game?
Right.
You've been out for fucking a year and a half.
Well, maybe Embiid was right when he left Philly to fucking savage him.
It seems like the playoffs would be a good time to endear yourself to your teammates. Like, to not sound too much like an old person here, but, Krinz's guy, Michael Jordan, did that in the playoffs when he was young. And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I mean, they weren't going to make the
Zion
NBA
was New
title,
Orleans.
but he still played. And, stuff like that helps long term.
And it sounds like Zion can play. It sounds like New Orleans doesn't want him to, because why?
Right.
That's another case of a guy that pretty big star that just didn't play this year. Like, that was like, nobody mentions that. Like Zion Williamson
Well, if you've seen Zion on the bench, you can understand why he's not playing. He doesn't really look like he's in shape. So
He's a big
Have you
son of a
have you
bitch.
seen the dunks on Instagram?
Yeah, he can maybe give you.
you're being duped.
I think he's healthy.
All right.
And I mean, Phoenix. I mean, Phoenix. If they're right for the pick, and you're like, all right, we got a shot here. We got a game. Can we get a second one?
This is Golden State's opportunity. This year is Golden State's opportunity. If the Suns aren't 100%, Golden State absolutely could find themselves in the finals. There's no doubt about it. They've been playing well. Curry's unbelievable. Draymond Green always picks it up in the playoffs. They've been there, done that. Clay looks like he's somewhat himself. He had another big game yesterday. It's
who's like a guy now. He's like, all right, you're good.
Right. Wiggins doesn't completely suck. Steve Kerr obviously can coach.
I think the winner of the West, whoever comes out of the West, is winning this.
I think Boston. Look out for Boston.
The East is so difficult to pick from because you could make legitimate cases for any team. Like you could make a
Philly,
case for
Milwaukee, Boston.
Philly. Yep. I mean, Miami's no slouch either, but I would say they're number 4 out of the 4 picks. I just don't know who's coming out of the East. In the West, the West feels like the Eastern Conference has been in previous years, where there's only one team or maybe 2 that could come out, and that's Phoenix or Golden State. I think whoever they're going to have the easier road. I think whoever wins that series wins the NBA Finals.
Whoever wins Golden State and the Suns series, I'll be rooting for them in the finals, whoever they play from the East. But the East, the semis, these next couple series, Philly, Miami, Milwaukee, and Boston, should be tremendous series. Looking forward to it. 2 more things, and I'll shut up for a while. Steve Nash probably going to get fired, even though it's not really his fault. He might not get another look as a head coach for a while. We'll see, but I'm pretty sure he's going to get canned. And the hottest take might be some recency bias. But as far as a two-way player goes, going right now, a young guy that's really coming into his own, I might, if I had to pick my best two-way player in the league right now, I might say Jason Tatum.
It'll be all right. Yeah.
What about Dion Waiters?
I thought you were going to hit with Dante Exum.
No, Dante Exum. It's Dante Exum and Dion Waiters on this. You're on the island for both.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Baseball, your first place, Minnesota Twins, killing it right now. We're at 8-8. We've won, 4 in a row?
Yep.
Is hitting the shit out of the ball again. Starting pitching has been excellent.
Well, one guy is.
Byron Buxton's been amazing.
When he's healthy.
The numbers, we talk about MVP just based on the numbers. But when you factor in, he had 5 of the 6 RBIs today. And
he's got 6 home runs already? I mean, we've only been playing
he missed 4 or 5 games.
He's the MVP. Right now, he's the MVP.
Yeah. And Ohtani, I don't think Ohtani's ever going to do what he did last year. That's just remarkable. And Trout just isn't it.
Right.
I mean, you look at him, and if this team's in the mix, and this, I'm excited more now because this division may have the 7th or 8th best record, their division winner.
Right.
But I think this division is up for grabs now. I think this is a winnable division 3 weeks in.
You see the White Sox, they're not happy right now because they blew 2 of these games in Minnesota.
And they're somehow worse offensively than the Twins, which is hard to believe.
They're struggling hard. People are fed up with La Russa, so it's interesting. They got guys hurt, and then the rest of the division's nothing special. So, I mean, it might be an 85, 86 win situation, but no reason the Twins can't be there.
Well, then we talk about how difficult the Twins' opening start to the season was, their first 3 series. I mean, for them to get through that here and, not great in Kansas City, but to sweep the Sox is good.
The most encouraging part to me, obviously, they're in first place. The Sox have lost 7 in a row. They won 4 in a row. But we're doing this riding Buxton. He's carried. The offense isn't going to suck.
Somebody's got to get.
Has to get a little bit better.
Got to start hitting at some point.
And I don't think they're going to pitch as well as they have these first 2.5 weeks either, mind you. But to balance it out right, and with the injury problems in La Russa, it's 15 games to the White Sox. The fact that they're 6-9 and they've lost 7 in a row, usually middle of April, end of April, you kind of, they're not hitting the panic button, but there's some people that are thinking this is not going anywhere near as good as we thought it was going to. So the hope is there. And like Traxler said, 85, 86 wins. And who knows? We might be here at the end of July and the Sox have it all rented out and they're 8 games off. That's definitely a possibility too, because I still think the talent level between the two teams is noticeably different when everyone's healthy, but they're not right now.
Who's the Sox that got injured yesterday? Jimenez or whatever? That this is back-to-back years now that he's been hurt. And if you have to go off on the cart with a hamstring injury, like you can't even walk off the field because he was on the infield, right? Like this.
They're talking 2 months at least.
Yeah. 6 to 8 weeks. Yeah.
That's a very significant injury for the Sox. If he can't stay healthy, that's a big blow to them and a huge advantage for the Twins.
I mean, to me, baseball's a funny game, right? You hear it all the time. Buxton, how many freak injuries has he had this year? Eloy Jimenez blows out his hamstring running through the base. I mean, it's what a dumb sport it is where you can basically have your hamstring go haywire and you're on the shelf for half the season almost.
I'm waiting for someone to be drying dishes or something and get in a sliver and be out for like 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, at Sports Illustrated, they've had those famous things that the guy gets hurt, when he's cleaning out his garage or gets hurt falling down the stairs at home. Or
gets hurt punching the Gatorade cooler in the dugout.
Dylan Bundy's been a great surprise. Chris Archer's been good.
Get Royce Lewis up and let's fucking go.
Who? Yeah, Royce Lewis.
Get Royce Lewis up and let's fucking go. Put him in the outfield like you said.
Josh Winder went 4 innings. He's been very good. Highly touted guy. So they've got some depth coming up that we haven't seen yet. Royce Lewis and Jose Miranda. And
it'll be interesting because the roster's still at 28, right? And it's supposed to shrink down here coming up.
27, isn't it?
Get rid of a couple pitchers here in the back end.
So it'll be interesting to see how the pitching, management goes because it's very clear that their plan is, 5 innings at a time from the starters, and that's fine. But I got to think that's going to stress the bullpen a little bit going forward.
I like they got Duran. I mean, we'll see how good they are, but they're exciting. They made all these offseason moves, and Buxton, you got to watch him. And when Duran comes into the game, you got to watch this guy. And they used him for 2 innings again, and he's been a starter. So, yeah, use this guy they've got 2 of the most exciting players and most talked about players right now. So, it's exciting to see them. Or maybe they can sneak into the playoffs, as that they get a 3 seed as that and play that 6 seed. I think that'd be all right. So, a lot of like Sano, just dog shit. Kepler, awful. You got to do something with these guys because I don't see it being better. Like I don't see either of these guys hitting much above 200. It's like
they are what they are at this point. I mean,
I don't care what they do with Sano. I don't want to see him on the field again. I'm sorry, I don't.
It's hard to argue. I mean, if you're a true Twins fan, I don't know how you could argue that right now. Like he's not fun to watch. He strikes out so much. And you just count on he's going to have 6 weeks like this every year. I mean, I don't.
Right.
You got to hope that these are the 6 weeks. I don't know that that's.
You put Luis Ariz at first base if this is the case. Then
yeah.
Move on from Sano. You put him at first. He's going to hit 310. He's going to get on base. Like you need something from that position. You just can't have a guy that doesn't. You just a hole in the lineup because I look at the struggles they've had offensively and scoring 1-2 runs a game. It's like, when you get fucking past the number 4 spot in the lineup, nothing's there. Like, who the fuck's going to get a hits? Nobody.
Who is the next first baseman in the organization? They don't really. Who do they? I mean, do they have anybody?
No, man. Like Brett, like Kirilloff can play first. They put him in the outfield, and he's been.
And I was thinking the same thing. They traded Rooker. I'm fine with trading Rooker. He was 27 years old. He was what he was at this point. But he would have been able to take care of the first base. I don't know how serious they would be about moving Sano anyway, but
who's going to take him?
Who wants? Yeah, you're not going to get a lot for him right now. So.
Like him and Kepler, you got to move on from those guys. Royce Lewis has had a good start, so it's exciting. See what happens.
What's the biggest surprise that you've seen so far?
Dylan Bundy. No, right.
Yeah.
All fucking baseball. Yes.
Non-twins related.
Shit. Biggest surprise, non-twins related?
would be the seemingly depth of good teams in the AL West. Mariners, Angels, Astros, they all seem to be competent and with younger guys that have been playing well for the first few weeks.
I would say the biggest rise has probably been Tyler McGill for the Mets.
Yeah. For an
The
individual
Mets are
player.
somebody
Yeah,
I wanted to pick, but I didn't because we have
Right.
Scherzer. DeGrom's not going to be healthy. Scherzer can't do it by himself.
Yep.
They don't have anybody else to pitch, but they've been just fine. So, they
He pitched well again today, didn't he?
huh?
That McGill pitched well again today, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he seems like he's going to be, their number 2 guy. So
Yep.
they can have that. Mets can very well win that division. So
Toronto is such a fun team to watch too.
Yeah,
We
Toronto's
talked
good.
about it before, but they're great.
We're on a collision course for a Dodgers Blue Jays World Series.
That's what I predicted at the beginning of the season, I think.
I got one question for Stack, and then I got to run. It's not
Okay.
related to. What are you doing on Friday night? Anything?
We might have some company over.
his name's Schottenkirk. He's coming over here.
Have you been to the Ultimate Sports Bar since they reopened?
I have. It's very nice.
Did you hear the news? Who's going to be in town on Friday?
Yes, Tommy Kramer.
Tommy Kramer,
Oh,
Keith Millard, and Henry Thomas.
Oh,
Huge.
Yeah, huge.
Tommy Kramer. I saw this on Twitter, and he was like, I need a small town sports bar to go to. And they're like, so you picked Waite Park, which is like, it's not a small town, but it's still within a like decent sized like metropolitan area of St. Cloud. Like, could you go to some place that has like a town of 300 people?
There was
come on, Tommy.
There was like 10 or 15 places all over the state that pitched them, but I think the selling point was that it was the closest one to where he's at down in the cities.
Where does he live at?
I think he's in a suburb somewhere down there, but he said a couple hours out of the cities is where he wanted to go. But I think the biggest selling point, and sometimes the sob story gets the ticket, but the place did burn down. Yeah. They come back stronger. And that place, for me, in the St. Cloud area, it's by far the best sports bar, the best atmosphere.
I would absolutely agree. I do feel bad for the owner. Like, obviously, business doing really good for him.
Right.
But you just lose all of that because he had all of these, or like all these like autographed helmets and jerseys, and that's irreplaceable. Like, you can replace a building. Yeah. Yep. You can replace a building. You can replace, everything else, but you can't. There's no way you can replicate what you lost in terms of that sports memorabilia.
Right. I got to run. Go Jags.
All right.
Do ball, baby.
All right.
Go Jags. There we go.
Urban Meyer is a douche, like, just for the record. So
it is. It's good to have that on the record.
288. The Sports Lounge. We'll see how we did. I think a couple of years ago we fucking nailed it. I think 2020. We got 7 of the first 8. I think.
I don't think this is going to be good, but
no. Last year was a struggle. So had some good, had some bad. So yeah, we'll see what happens here. Coming up on 8 o'clock. Anything else? Second final thought. You got a baby, big announcement, having a kid.
Yep.
In July.
Mm-hmm.
The names you had for the first birth, do you kind of recycle those names and say, we kind of like this one? Or how do you pick names because you don't know what sex this person is?
Well, you pick a boy. You have a couple of boys' names. You have a couple of girls' names. As you get closer, then you're like, okay, I think we kind of decided on this one for a boy, this one for a girl, and then whatever the baby, when the baby comes out.
Do you have a guess of what it is?
Human. I think it's a 50-50.
Does it have a tallywhacker or no tallywhacker?
I don't know, because that would give me a go ahead. So far, no pink shit has come into the house, so that
I gotta think it's going to be given away at some point, right here. I mean,
you gonna do a gender thing or just gonna whatever?
No. But
that's a good call, Stack, and you don't want to get blown up.
I don't want to start a forest fire in California. Like, that's just not my jam. I don't want to spend the baby's years in their youth in jail because I set a forest afire. I honestly have no idea. Everyone's like, oh, it's a girl, and like, this baby's moving around a lot more than Noah did. So does that mean it's a girl? Maybe it's just more active. Maybe it's a boy. I honestly
is that a dog or a kid? But what is that by you?
What do you mean?
Something off your left hand, or is that you? As you's rocking the chair, I think.
Oh, this?
Your left hand.
Oh yeah. What's that?
Yeah, it's my earbud case.
Okay, very good. Marcus, final thoughts. We got the spring coming up here. Any big plans for the summer? You got what? Are you going to go to the College World Series?
I don't know if the College World Series is going to happen or not.
Depends if Belmont makes it or not. We'll see.
It does depend on if my Vols are the number one team in the country, so that's the reason. That would be a reason to go. It was fun last year.
They got some pitcher that's like 103.
Yeah, he's pumping heat. I saw today they were number one team.
Flamethrower.
I got a couple Twins games on the schedule. I got. I don't really have any. I have like a week. The week after, I have to take a honeymoon after you go on your honeymoon. I'm taking the week after you get married off. So it's going to take a lot out of me. I'm almost certain of it. So, but my main thought today, and I mean, this is this weekend. It's really my main proof that I'm getting old is complaining about the weather. This wind, I just can't. I can't do it, man.
For a month.
I can't do it every day. It's 50-mile-an-hour winds. I can deal with the cold. I can deal with the hot, whatever. But the wind, man, it's demoralizing. It makes you want to just live somewhere else.
You can't do anything outside if it's
Yeah. So
last week I think was the windiest I've ever experienced over a sustained period when you had those wind gusts of 67. I think it topped out at, and it was at least 40 much of the day, if not higher than that.
I will say I want the blizzard that Minot got in Bismarck. I want that snow, but next year. I don't need that snow anymore. North Dakota. Yeah, North Dakota, they got a blizzard and a tornado yesterday. Like, it's just insane.
Yeah, you want that snow in January or February when you're supposed to get snow. You don't want this crap in April when we're supposed to be moving on to something else. So, but that's the gist of what I got going on. So,
Marcus, I have two questions for you.
Yeah.
One, how was Wichita watching the USD women lose? Was that did you get some satisfaction out of seeing them lose but playing a good game? Like what was that experience like?
Well, I didn't take any satisfaction. I tried to. I mean, I want to play it straight. I want to be fair to the Yoke fans. I didn't get any hate mail. Given my past academic history.
That's very good of you to give such good coverage to USD. Oftentimes South Dakota or USD doesn't get coverage.
Well, it's funny because the people that covered them the most got the most complaining, even in Wichita, saying you're not doing enough. And I'm like, I'm the one just parachuting in, covering the big game, and nobody had any issues with that. So, it was. I will just say, in the last year, I've gone to Texas, I've gone to Montana, I've gone to Kansas. I went to Colorado. That was kind of a half vacation, half not, to watch SDSU play Colorado State. So I've been kind of able to make this job what I want it to be. And I have, fortunate that I have some people that help pay for it, from the company standpoint, but, that's good. I've been able to enjoy some stuff that I wouldn't otherwise. It was an entertaining game. I honestly thought USD was going to win. But it got to the point there where, didn't make enough shots late. When you play it in, sub 60s or whatever it ended up being, it's a crapshoot, and they kind of just ran into a team that played as good a defense as they did. So it was exciting. I mean, I think I told Travis, I could see SDSU's women having that kind of following if they made the Sweet 16 and it was within driving distance.
Oh, yes.
But they haven't had that opportunity, and it's not a guarantee that they necessarily would go and do that. And USD capitalized on the chance, so good for them. They definitely took over the arena in Wichita, and then a couple nights later, it's back to 2,000 people watching the game, like it was in the other places that didn't have an area connection. So
one of the main reasons probably why UConn always gets the home court advantage, which is just a crock of shit. I mean,
and it's interesting now. They're the next 3 years or so, they're going to 2 sites for the regionals, and they're doing super regionals for the women's tournament. So and there are none in the middle of the country really. The next 2, it's basically 1 East, 1 West, and the next 2 West ones are Seattle and Portland. So there will not be a regional in the center of the country. So that opportunity is going to go away, and that kind of stinks for a team like South Dakota or South Dakota State. And, I think the people in Wichita, some of them said, we were kind of expecting a Big 12 team to be here, and there weren't, because Baylor crapped the bet against USD, and, the other teams that you maybe have in that list, Oklahoma or whoever it might be, they didn't didn't get it done. So, and they didn't have Iowa or Iowa State in that region. So it's interesting that they did end up with a team that brought a lot of fans, but it wasn't who anybody really thought. So.
I think we should probably get tickets for the 2023-2024 Big Ten or the 2024 men's Big Ten tournament. I think that would be a lot of fun to go to.
I'm absolutely going to try to go to that. It will probably fall.
Let's do it.
It will fall probably on a girls basketball weekend if I still have this same job, but I absolutely will try to make it for some part of that, because that's gonna be awesome.
I think we should all go. And did you go to the women's Final Four? Any of that?
I did. I went to all 3 games. Yeah. So
all right. What was that experience like in terms of?
It was different from the men's Final Four, just simply from you had sort of the same dynamics of the fan bases, but it was one of those things where, okay, everybody fits in the Target Center. You had 18,000 or 19,000, people there for the 2 nights. It felt like they could have sold more tickets. You maybe could have this at half of US Bank Stadium, where you bring a curtain across and you have 30,000 people, buy tickets, because there certainly was probably more demand. But at the same time, it just kind of felt sterile, a lot more sterile than the men's Final Four, because the fan bases aren't as big. The bands aren't, it's just not as big. It's just, and
South Carolina was rowdy though.
They were rowdy. They were rowdy for sure. But the men's Final Four, it was sterile, but it had 70,000 people. That you have that element in there as well, and it's a little bit different. Frankly, the Target Center, from like a ability to host, it got the job done. It was not big enough. From a media standpoint, the media workroom area wasn't big enough. They basically put it in the courtside club that the Target Center has, and that's fine, I'm sure, for a Wolves game, for the beautiful people that are there, but to jam the media in there was tough. And I was going to type up my media notes. I still have them half done, but I don't know if I'll get to that or not. But I sat across from a guy from the San Francisco Chronicle, and he's like, "Yeah, this isn't good." He's just like, he wasn't real happy with how it was set up. But I imagine that's kind of the decision the NCAA has to make. Like, are we gonna have this in a dome, which they have done, in the past, Alamo Dome or Lucas Oil, I think. Or do we have
aren't they talking about Final Four being in the same city here at some point for both men's and women?
They've talked about it. It doesn't seem like they're going to do it. It seems like they're going to keep them separate, which, from what the women's basketball people were saying, that's how they want it. They like having their own place, their own weekend. So I can respect that.
Yep.
To have a combined tournament, Marcus. They're all in the same place, same weekend. Everybody's in the same place.
Yeah. I mean, what cities in the country would be able to handle if you did have, 8 teams all in the same place? I don't know. It would have to be the biggest of the cities. It'd have to be in New York. It would have to be probably have to be a place that has a dome and an arena. So,
yeah.
Las Vegas, Las Vegas is going to get a men's Final Four, and I imagine a women's Final Four will be going there soon. New Orleans,
LA, Arizona,
I suppose Georgia. Yeah, I suppose Atlanta.
Yep.
Maybe Minneapolis. I don't know, but Indianapolis, maybe. Detroit. So the list becomes a little smaller, and it becomes clear that there's certain cities they aren't going to. I don't know if Minneapolis. Excuse me. I don't know how often Minneapolis is going to be in the rotation going forward. I would hope they'd be in the kind of the every 12 to 15 years for a men's Final Four, and maybe the same for the women. I could definitely see the women coming back. But
I would think the men would come back. I mean, it's a nice stadium and whatnot. I mean, they had a few issues getting people out that I know people were upset with, but it's still really nice. How was the swag? Did you notice any women's Final Four swag? How did it compare to the men?
I knew that Travis and I talked about this. We had a good feeling that you were gonna be wondering about that. And
yes, so I was tempted. I was really tempted to just try and find something. I looked online and it didn't have anything, by Final. I mean, I spent $200-300 on shirts and whatnot there, and it didn't look like there was anything really close to that. At least not that I found on NCAAshop.com.
Well, I've started to kind of collect pins from some of these events. So I got a couple Final Four pins here.
Very good.
That I have on my lanyard from the Final Four. And then I was wearing the shirt that I did get, and I took it off I might have to go grab that. But I got a cool Final Four long sleeve T-shirt, so that's quite comfortable. So that's good. But it was almost, I mean, just imagine basically the same types of stuff that the men's Final Four had, except less of it and more of it geared towards women. But there was not nearly the selection. They did have the little stores all the way around downtown. It's interesting because I'm like you. I wanted to see everything there was to see from a merchandise standpoint. I wasn't going to buy it all, but I wanted to see. And there was really only one store downtown that had all the stuff. And then in each hotel, they had a little shop. And I actually kind of stumbled in on the Louisville kind of like pep rally before their game on Friday. And so they had a lot of Louisville stuff that they were selling, but nothing too crazy. And then actually in the arena, in the concourse, they had one or two merchandise setups, and those were packed. I mean, those were absolutely swamped. I think like all the UConn stuff sold out on Friday, and I'm sure they got more on Sunday when they played again. But obviously with Paige Beckers, people were excited to buy UConn stuff, and UConn, they had people there that you could tell go to every Final Four UConn's in. Like, they just kind of count on that being part of it. And there were a certain segment of people that you could tell they go to every women's Final Four too, similar to how the men is, but not as many tickets to fight over. So
right.
But yeah, a lot of the same, the T-shirt designs and the generic stuff that just says Final Four. A lot of that was kind of geared the same way the men's stuff was. So, and definitely some regional ties. People wearing Iowa stuff. You could tell that maybe they thought Iowa was going to get there. People wearing. A couple people wearing SDSU stuff, a couple people wearing Minnesota. Obviously, Minnesota, a lot of Gopher stuff there. But yeah, so it was interesting because I had committed to doing this, and then of course the SDSU women are playing in the WNIT, so it's like, I guess I'm going to miss out on that. But women's Final Four, that's fine too. So
yep.
And I was kind of having the thing of like, maybe I'll just go on Friday. I won't go on Sunday. And then after I was there on Friday, I'm like, I'm this close. I'm capable to go to the championship. Why not? So, so that was cool.
Wrapping up basketball, you got baseball and draft coming up here this weekend. So,
yeah, we got the draft. That's it's interesting. Stacking can sort of speak to it's interesting to have sort of the NBA and the NHL playoffs staggered. We don't have the NHL hasn't even started yet. So, and I imagine for ESPN and TNT, it works out that way because they'd have too many games probably otherwise. So
it works great this year. I'm curious to see what it's going to look like next year when the schedules align more the way that we are accustomed to, where the NHL starts 3 or 4 days earlier than the NBA, and then you have this, the stupid play-in tournament and whatnot. I'll be curious to see how that lines up. Wild, just get the 2 seed. Just get the 2 seed. That's all. That's all I want.
We should note, I know ESPN wrote about it this week, the play-in potentially for hockey. I would not be, and baseball's kind of messing around with it too. I would not be surprised if we see that expand. Playoff expansion, man, it's not going anywhere in any of these sports.
For the love of all things holy, please get the NHL playoff format back to just 1 through 8. I'm so sick and tired of this bullshit divisional playoff. I was telling Crins on the podcast this week, like, it doesn't make any sense for the 2 seed to be playing the 4 seed in the first round, like what we're going to see in the West with the Wild and the Blues. It makes absolutely zero sense, and I'm tired of it.
I haven't even looked. So if they did it 1 through 8, who would the Wild be playing?
If they did it 1 through 8, let me get this here.
I could look, but
I think it would be. We're getting the conference here. They would be playing. They're the 3. They would be taking on the Kings.
Okay.
Like, sign me up for that.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like it might be possible for me to hit a Wild playoff game. So I'm excited if that shakes out. So that'll be nice. Hopefully that happens.
There we go. Enjoy the draft. We'll see how we do. And we'll be back at some point. Who knows? Lounge 288. Charlie, Schottenkirk, Marcus, Stacking.
Travis from the darkness.
From me, from the darkness. It got light and then it got dark out. Go Twins. We'll see how they do. So Lounge 288 in the books.